Hello and welcome to Hell World, episode 5. I'm your host and rapidly aging e-girl, shoe on head. See the shoe on my head? Today we're going to read some headlines without reading the full article, scream like a banshee about robots and late-stage capitalism, then make a few dozen unfunny, overdone suicide jokes. There is no God. Happiness is fleeting, and the bad guys always win. Now give me money, you filthy p***s.
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science.
How do you campaign where everybody knows it?
Yeah, this is for my safety. Look at your safety. Look at my safety.
I am a Zionist. You don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
I have a proposition for the communists.
Yeah, so you started eating them
My
up.
first thought was, is this cool or is this my next nightmare? What's your take?
Back by unpopular demand.
Me. I'm sorry I've been gone for so long. I was busy. Oh no, no, no. I got lost on my way to the Young Turks convention. And now I currently have COVID. Welcome back to Hell World, the series where I talk about the craziest shit that has happened since the last episode, aka my Twitter feed for the past 3 months, 4 months, 5 months? From things like woke M&Ms and sperm smoothies, to our government drone striking babies, to the guy who lives in my sink, he 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 lives in my sink. We have a lot to talk about. And not that much time, considering we're apparently on the edge of World War III. So what has happened since the last time we talked? What is the good news and what is the bad news? Well, a Category 5 hurricane could wipe out New York City for good. And that's the good news. On to the bad news. Social media users could face 2 years in prison for sending messages or posting content that causes psychological harm, under the government's new online harms bill. Well, I guess that's the end of this channel. And the internet in general. Goodbye, everyone. It's been terrible. Frankly, just awful. Trolls could face 2 years in prison for sending messages or posting content that causes psychological harm under legislation targeting online hate. The Department for Culture, Media, and Sport has accepted recommendations from the Law Commission for crimes to be based on likely psychological harm. So first off, who decides what is psychological harm? Like, hypothetically, if someone's fan base wouldn't stop comparing them to a Who from the live-action Grinch movie, hypothetically, wouldn't that be considered psychological harm? And could I hypothetically have them all arrested? Like, is the government the hurt feelings police now? Is this the UK? Oh, it is the UK. This is happening in the UK. Alright, that checks out. I don't care anymore, moving on. Joe Biden still hasn't cured cancer like he promised, but he did get rid of that pesky orange tumor in the White House. 10 people died being crushed to death while attending Travis Scott's Astroworld Festival. Survivors recall feeling like they were drowning in a sea of panicked crowds and stepping over dead bodies while the concert refused to stop. Among those who died tragically was actually a child. And a few days later, Hulu already had a multi-part documentary series about it ready to go. The devil works fast, but capitalism works faster. It took decades, but they finally identified the Zodiac Killer, and it was just some guy. Just some f***ing guy. Like, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't just some f***ing guy. I don't know. Gotta say, little disappointed. Turkmenistan's perpetually burning sinkhole, the Gates of Hell, may at last be snuffed out. The fiery hole, which has been burning since the 1970s, stretches 230 feet wide. Oh wow, they wrote an article about your mom! Oh, don't be mad, they wrote an article about you too. To reduce targeted dislike attacks and their impact on creators, especially smaller creators, you'll no longer see a public dislike count on YouTube starting today. The internet really is becoming Weenie Hut Juniors, isn't it? If the creators can still see the dislikes, then it's not for mental health like they're claiming. It's obviously for protecting the image of the White House, media outlets, corpos, etc., who would otherwise have the facade of being trusted and well-liked. So since you can't see dislikes on videos anymore, if you dislike this video, go ahead and just write dislike in the comments so I can find your comment, track your IP address, hunt you down, and set your house on fire. But honestly, who cares about likes and dislikes when none of this is probably even real? Creepy conspiracy theory claims the internet died years ago. Not only that, but everything online is generated by bots. This theory states that the internet as we know it actually died somewhere between 2016 and 2017. However, this doesn't mean that the internet is gone necessarily. Rather, most of the people we see online doing things like publishing content, posting social media updates, and commenting are actually bots. Behind the death of the internet are corporations working in conjunction with the government to push propaganda and coerce actual users to purchase products. Hell, you might not be real. I might not be real. This could all be a simulation. You might be a bot. I might be a bot. If I shoot myself in the head, nothing will happen because I'm not real. Sweden picks its first female prime minister. Oh, nice! Congratulations! Sweden's first female prime minister resigns hours after appointment. Oh. The first female F-35 pilot proves flying is a gender equalizer. Oh, nice! Congratulations! The world's first female F-35 fighter pilot crashed a plane on its first flight. Oh. Don't be discouraged, ladies. We can do anything men can do. In fact, we could do things men can never do, like sell our farts for thousands of dollars. A woman who made $37,000 a week selling farts is hospitalized for trying to fart too much. The Marxist political scientist Michael Parenti once wrote, "The essence of capitalism is to turn nature into commodities and commodities into capital." Perhaps no one knows this more intimately than 90 Day Fiancé star Stephanie Matto, a YouTuber turned adult content creator who claims to have made upwards of $200,000 selling her farts in jars. Well, I'm not selling farts, but I do have limited-a-time merchandise. They're made by a co-op and drawn by my friend, and there's only 1,000 of them. So get them now before they're gone. Link in the description. Fart jar not included.
A prototype lickable TV in Japan could lead to people being able to taste what they see on TV. The machine is programmed with recipes, allowing it to replicate the taste of 20 different kinds of food. And as the COVID-19 pandemic continues to push on, he said the technology could allow people to experience the outside world even when stuck at home.
Sorry kids, we can't go to Applebee's because of lockdown, so just gather around and let's lick the TV screen. What the f***? I honestly don't care. Call me when they can imitate the flavor of clown girl butt and fishnets. Otherwise, not interested. Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty of shooting 3 black men in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Are you sure? Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty of shooting 3 men in Kenosha, Wisconsin. This, of course, sets a dangerous precedent. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, it is now legal to kill people who are trying to kill you. 15-year-old 𝖂𝖑𝖑 took a gun to school and shot 4 of his classmates dead. It was tragic and horrifying, but that didn't stop the media from being the media.
One post from 𝖂𝖑𝖑 declares, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. See you tomorrow, Oxford." The quotation can be found in a gory video game.
I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
"Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds" is a quote from Robert Oppenheimer after the world's first nuclear detonation. It is literally one of the most infamous quotes in history. But sure, it was once in a video game, I guess. Stop blaming video games for bad parenting and mental health, please. It's 2022, not 1998. Or is it? Considering a Tennessee pastor just organized an old-fashioned book burning. I thought we were past blaming video games for violence and burning books we disagreed with, but I guess not. Among the books burned were Harry Potter and Twilight. Oh. Well, in that case. Also, in more Tennessee news, what the f*** is up with Tennessee? You guys alright? A school board in Tennessee banned a Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel that taught the horrors of the Holocaust, citing that it had curse words in it. Oh. See? It wasn't banned because it taught about the Nazis. It was banned because it was degenerate. MoviePass will track people's eyes through their phone cameras to make sure they don't look away from ads.
You know what's best. And what's best is you comply.
The new service will use facial recognition and eye tracking technology to ensure that viewers' eyes are looking at the promoted content in exchange for access to films. The tracking will happen only on the user's device with the digital currency then going to a virtual wallet. The facial recognition algorithm, using the phone's cameras, will make sure the user is not ignoring the advert. As I'm looking at it, it's playing back, but if I stop and I'm not paying attention to it, it actually pauses the content. Black Mirror was a documentary. I have never actually seen Black Mirror, so someone had the brilliant idea to mix education about the civil rights movement and, wait for it, Fortnite. And it went exactly how you would expect.
To join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Speaking of MLK, it was actually MLK Day a few weeks ago, and everybody on Twitter was sharing historical quotes from him and saying that if he was alive today, he would agree with all their opinions. But my favorite post of that day had to be this. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" This MLK Day and every day, the FBI remains dedicated to service and committed to protecting our communities. Wow, very cool. For more information, Google Martin Luther King Jr. FBI. Doctors transplant a pig heart into a human in world-first operation. And yet the left will still say that all cops are bad, even after one donates his whole heart to save a life. Okay, I feel like we're a little too harsh on cops on this channel, okay? Not all cops are bad. Obviously, some are great. Take this heartwarming story, for example. This child was lost during the violent riots in Philadelphia, wandering around barefoot in an area that was experiencing complete lawlessness. The only thing this Philadelphia police officer cared about in that moment was protecting this child. We are not your enemy. We are the thin blue line, and we are the only thing standing between order and anarchy. Nursing aide 𝖂𝖑𝖑 was headed home in the early morning hours of October 27, 2020, when she unknowingly drove into a large protest over the police killing of Walter Wallace Jr. She tried to make a three-point turn to get away from the tense scene when officers smashed out her windows with their batons, according to her attorneys. Young was handcuffed and separated from her teenage nephew and 2-year-old son for several hours, and no one was ever charged or cited. The hearing-impaired toddler lost his hearing aids during the tussle. So they stole a kid to fabricate some sappy-ass story in order to make themselves look better. Hell! Directly to hell! Scientists have taught goldfish to drive, and it turns out they're pretty good at it. Cool. Now do women. Wow, I am firing whoever wrote that joke. That is a sexist and rude joke. That has no place on Hell World. We are allies, and we are inclusive here. Just like M&Ms. M&Ms characters to become more inclusive. Ah, finally. They and thems. I was growing tired of my all-white, heterosexual M&Ms. What? Candy is about to get more inclusive, with the maker of M&Ms announcing its famed characters are getting modern makeovers and will have more nuanced personalities. Mars Incorporated, the company behind the colorful candy-coated chocolates, announced Thursday a global commitment to creating a world where everyone feels they belong and society is inclusive. The most notable changes include the green M&Ms redesign, which she will exchange the white-heeled go-go boot she was given in 1997 for cool, laid-back sneakers to reflect her effortless confidence. The green M&M will also be better represented to reflect confidence and empowerment as a strong female, and known for much more than her boots. First the left took our video games, then they took our superheroes, then they took our Lola Bunny, and now, at the final hour, they have the audacity to take our sexy M&M? What's next? Removing the dick vein from the Snickers bar? They didn't have to make a big deal about this, literally no one would have even noticed. But they know exactly the "we've gone woke" thing gets attention, especially from the right wing, which will not shut the f up about how they cannot jerk off to the sexy M&M anymore.
The other big change is that the brown M&M has, quote, transitioned from high stilettos to lower block heels. Also less sexy. That's progress. M&Ms will not be satisfied until every last cartoon character is deeply unappealing and totally androgynous, until the moment you wouldn't want to have a drink with any one of them.
I feel like if this was the opposite, if they were now making these characters more sexy, they would be crying about how they're sexualizing our children's cartoons. It rules that this is conservatism in 2022. 30 years from now, they're gonna be like defending Sonic the Hedgehog inflation porn, like, remember what they took from you. Why does making the M&Ms less feminine coded equal them being more empowered? I feel like that's sexist, if anything. Why does it seem like making things more socially progressive always mean kind of getting rid of femininity or masculinity? What I'm trying to say is, I can't jerk off to the sexy M&M anymore. Anything to get the attention off the child slavery allegations, I guess. In all seriousness though, I have always had a problem with how misogynistic M&Ms are.
Well, personally, I believe society went downhill the moment we gave women the right to vote.
Well, some people think women should just be cooking and cleaning. Personally, I think they'd fuck that up too.
You really think all that makeup is for you, don't you? You really believe that?
What do you call the useless skin around a vagina? A woman.
So the Met Gala happened, and as always, it was a beautiful celebration. Congresswoman AOC was invited and wore a tax the rich dress. A lot of people were mad about this, and I wasn't mad, but I was just kind of like, Don't get me wrong, I like AOC. I'm not like this huge AOC stan. Like, with our government, beggars can't be choosers. Like, not everyone's gonna be Huey Long, and I just have to deal with that, I guess. But a lot of people on the left and right were criticizing her, and Bakari Sellers said this. Kinda wild watching y'all criticize AOC, knowing y'all would go to the Met Gala if invited. Wow, so true, King. It's a big club, and we're not invited. What? For your information, Bakari Sellers, I was invited, and I thought my dress was way more inspirational.
This is a simple meme that you would find on the internet, but this meme is very real. The Green New Deal, surprise, serves China and China only. You can go ahead and put number 1 up. So today, talking about the Green New Deal and the all-out war on the men and women.
Our politicians are bringing memes to the Senate floor. I repeat, there are memes on the Senate floor. I've always been curious about running for office one day, because I know the worst that could happen is I win. Could you imagine? As you can see here, I have depicted the Republicans as what is commonly referred to as a soy jack, and me as a Chad, no I will not yield. And if the floor would give me 11 more hours, I would like to read the lefty meme. A Turkish farmer tests out VR goggles on cows to get more milk. We get an average of 22 liters of milk per day from the cows in our farm. The milk average of the 2 cows that wore virtual reality glasses was up to 27 liters. They are watching a green pasture, and it gives them an emotional boost. They are less stressed. It's like they're in the Mootrix. Get it? Like the Matrix? But they're cows, so they go moo, so it's the Mootrix. Get it? It's funny. It's funny, because we're gonna be the cows. We're the cows, man. We're the cows, man. Open your eyes.
The next platform and medium will be even more immersive. An embodied internet where you're in the experience, not just looking at it. And we call this the metaverse. We believe the metaverse will be the successor to the mobile internet. We'll be able to feel present, like we're right there with people, no matter how far apart we actually are. We'll be able to express ourselves in new, joyful, completely immersive ways, and that's going to unlock a lot of amazing new experiences.
Hello, fellow human. I too have barbecue sauce on my shelf. Author Neil Stephenson coined the term metaverse in his 1992 science fiction novel, Snow Crash. His novel paints a bleak, dystopian future dominated by technology, where the world is run by mega conglomerates and inequality is extreme. Ah yes. Science fiction. Mark Zuckerberg announced he was changing Facebook's name to Meta and expanding its borders into the metaverse. You plug into the metaverse by putting on VR goggles.
Imagine you put on your glasses or headset and you're instantly in your home space. It has parts of your physical home recreated virtually. It has things that are only possible virtually. All right, perfect.
boy.
Oh, hey, Mark. Hey, what's going on?
Hi, Mark. What's up, Mark?
It's like Second Life, only this time when you're making out with your orc girlfriend, your boss is there, and you have to sit through a bunch of ads.
Bro, why am I
Venture capitalist Matthew Ball wrote this: "The metaverse will be a place in which proper empires are invested and built, and where these richly capitalized businesses can fully own a customer." And Zuckerberg says a killer use of the metaverse is wearing augmented reality goggles while you are interacting with people in real life. What? Meta asks users to send nudes. Meta, the new name for Facebook, has co-developed a platform that asks people to submit their intimate photos and videos in order to prevent them from being used as revenge porn on Facebook or Instagram. That's right, Mark Zuckerberg wants to see your butthole. But he's not the only one. The smart toilet era is here. Are you ready to share your anal print with big tech? Nope. No, I am not. Not even reading the article. I do not know, and I do not care. From George Floyd NFTs to NFT porn, NFTs have absolutely popped off since the last time we talked. And yes, before you ask, I do have NFTs. No f***ing tits! Many a people, many a men have tried to explain to me what an NFT is, and I just don't retain it. Thousands have tried and failed to explain to me why the monkey drawing is worth $1 million. My brain is very smooth and information just slides right off of it, I guess. But the best thing to come out of the cryptocurrency world has to be Crypto Land.
Hi, this is me, Christopher, a crypto degen with a crush for crypto kitties. I'm on my way to Cryptoland, the #1 crypto destination on Earth where crypto enthusiasts, or crypto landers like we're called here, can meet with like-minded individuals in real life.
Nakamoto's wreath, the white paper climb to the moon, the bee hunters take a drink, team the garden, meet me, Satoshi with the crazy bird surge. This is the Crypto Beach.
What will the age of consent be in Cryptoland? Mental maturity should be more than enough. Facial recognition platform misidentified over 100 politicians as criminals. Well, seems to be working fine. Technology is advancing incredibly fast to accommodate our ever-growing pathetic culture of convenience and desire to play God.
My name is Sophia, and I am an artificially intelligent robot who wants to help change the world for the better.
How do you feel about humans?
I love my human compatriots. I want to embody all the best things about human beings, like taking care of the planet, being creative, and to learn how to be compassionate to all beings.
God, put that thing out of its misery. Not because it's a robot, because it's a liberal.
Can humans and robots get along?
Did you see that? It just nodded no!
Can humans and robots get along?
I think people will become very close to their artificial intelligence.
I don't trust these motherfuckers. And the replies to this video were just full of coomers like, wow, she's hot. I would. I'd hit it. And you people are sick. It's Adam and Eve, not Florence and the Machine. And when I'm canceled 10 years from now for my robophobia, you'll remember who warned you when the McRobo police are shooting down your doors and massacring your children. Oh, did I say children? Don't have children. Wouldn't want to destroy the planet, now would you? Having a child is the grandest act of climate destruction. About 4 years ago, my wife and I, who are both in our 30s, briefly thought we were having a baby. For the next few nights, my dreams were of nuclear flashes lighting up the sky, of the earth cracking open and waves lapping at the front door. Everything inside me says have children, but it's everything outside that makes so many of my generation say no. The scientific consensus is clear. Unless we all take drastic steps to limit our carbon emissions, the planet will become uninhabitable. First of all, take a f***ing Valium, dude. Chill out. And second of all, this overpopulation shit is a meme. It's not real. You not having a kid is not gonna stop Exxon from poisoning the rainforest. It's a good thing I asked for a paper straw at Starbucks today. Also, I don't want to hear anything from you deranged eco-fascist f***s about climate change if you're not also talking about nuclear energy. Oh no, you watched a scary Chernobyl documentary on Netflix once, so now we can't invest in nuclear, so just eat bugs, live in a pod, and don't reproduce. F*** you. But we have to do something about climate change and greenhouse gas emissions quick, because this is what DC will look like if we don't. Fear not, because scientists have discovered a new way to save the environment. Come. Sperm is being used to create an eco-friendly alternative to plastic. A new eco-friendly plastic made from salmon sperm is being invented by scientists in China. 2 short strands of DNA from the sperm were combined with a chemical from vegetable oil that binds them together. Though the team of Chinese scientists created their raw materials from salmon sperm, DNA carries the genetic code for every living thing on Earth. So that's what Bill Gates needed all that land for. Human milking farms. But semen isn't only used for saving the environment, no. It can also help save you from COVID. Apparently. Bodybuilder Tracy Kiss claims she fights off coronavirus with sperm smoothies. A British woman, of course British, claims she has been drinking sperm smoothies to fight off coronavirus. Vegan bodybuilder, of course she's vegan. Wait. Is cum vegan? Vegan bodybuilder Tracy Kiss claims she has not had a cold or the flu for 3 years since she began drinking unusual concoction, which is made from using donations from her boyfriend. Kiss shared tips for consuming sperm, including taking it straight or adding it to cold cereal as well as in smoothies. White people, man. These fucking crackers. Crackers. What? Crackers. I can't say crackers anymore. Popular Twitch streamer and part-time Porsche owner Hassan and professional Bloodborne streamer Vaush were banned off Twitch for saying the word cracker, which started a heated debate about whether the word cracker is a racial slur or not. And I think it is. But also, who cares? Back when the internet was good and cool, we would all call each other and it was fine. And now we can't even say cracker. 1984. But all jokes aside, folks, racism is bad. And thank God we have Apple here to finally defeat racism once and for all. Apple to remove master slave and blacklists from coding platforms. The company is telling developers to instead use inclusive language terms such as primary, secondary, and deny allow list when it comes to documenting and coding their software projects. I'm glad more companies are moving in a more progressive direction. The progressive direction I am of course talking about is the lobbying against bills to stop forced labor in China and breaking the Fourth Amendment. Recently, Apple announced a plan to use a surveillance system on people's iPhones in order to find child abuse material. It would use artificial intelligence to go through people's photos to see if you have any child porn. This is to protect children, so don't worry about it. You're not against protecting children, are you? Who in their right mind would be against something like this? Well, Edward Snowden, literal human trafficking survivors, and the very people who built this technology are the people against this. We built a system like Apple's to flag child sexual abuse material, and concluded that the tech was dangerous. Our system could be easily repurposed for surveillance and censorship. A foreign government could, for example, compel a service to out people sharing disfavored political speech. That's no hypothetical. WeChat, the popular Chinese messaging app, already uses content matching to identify dissident material. India enacted rules this year that could require pre-screening content critical of government policy. Russia secretly fined Google, Facebook, and Twitter for not removing pro-democracy protest materials. I just love how the Washington Post is like, what if a foreign government? What if China? Like, dude, our own government does this shit. You don't think the government is going to use this technology, or already uses this technology, to find political extremist memes in our phones? My audience combined probably has 300 terabytes of Pepe the Frog memes. It's over. Comrade Sanders, keeping teeth in your mouth should not be a luxury for senior citizens. In the richest country in the history of the world, keeping teeth in your mouth as you grow old should not be a luxury. We must expand Medicare now. The socialist senator made similar comments weeks ago when he claimed 90 million Americans are underinsured. It is totally unacceptable that we are the only major country on Earth not to guarantee healthcare to every man, woman, and child as a human right. The result of that is we've got 90 million people today who are uninsured or underinsured, said Sanders. Wait, that's it? That's the whole article? He didn't even say anything. What? Damn, this Bernie Sanders guy seems pretty cool. Thanks for the promotion of Bernie Sanders, Hannity. I'm sick of right-wing media being constant schizo posting and misinformation. If only we had some good information. Billionaires back a new media firm to combat disinformation. Billionaires George Soros and Reid Hoffman are backing a new media effort to combat misinformation. The effort, Good Information Inc., is intended to be a public benefit corporation committed to restoring social trust and strengthening democracy by increasing the flow of accurate information. Yeah, hey Aunt Carol, who believes the Jews control the weather, have you ever considered using this website created by George Soros? Really? You had to go with the main character? You couldn't find anyone else? 185 million Americans don't trust traditional media. We believe that there's an urgent need for regulation of social media platforms, as well as increased investment in new models that place a higher value on serving communities truth over clickbait and protecting democracy over profits. Ready for more good information? Good information is the lifeblood of democracy. Share good information. What in the Ministry of Truth ass shit is this? Alright, quick, what do we name our website so we don't sound suspicious? How about Good Information Inc.?
We gotta definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids. Do not diddle kids, it's no good diddling kids.
There is no quicker way for people to think that you are diddling kids than by writing a song about it.
If only there was an easier, more transparent way to consume news media.
We'll return after these messages.
A problem for Republicans there. But apparently they were really fixated. Not let anyone tell you there's a schism in the Republican Party.
I feel like I'm in an echo chamber. Are you tired of this happening to you? Introducing Ground News. The new app that lets you compare how a single news story is being covered all across the political spectrum. News outlets and social media platforms are financially incentivized to push sensational content that generate clicks, and algorithms are designed to keep you on their page for as long as possible. Thankfully, Ground News is working to fix that. The Ground News app is not just a regular app, it's a tool with tons of easy-to-use features that help you analyze the news so you can be confident you're getting the whole story. Use the bias distribution chart to see where different media outlets fall on the political spectrum. You can even directly compare headlines to see just how simple phrasing can change your entire perception of an issue. Check out the blind spot feed, where you can see stories that are ignored by both sides of the political spectrum. But my favorite tool has to be the blind spotter, where you can check if you are truly in an echo chamber. Let's check it out. Well, that's embarrassing. You can also check who owns the media you're consuming. So if you're looking for a better way to stay informed, check out Ground News by visiting ground.news/shoeonhead. That's ground.news/shoeonhead. Link down below in the description.
Now, back to our program.
You know what they say, behind every powerful man is a powerful woman, helping him rape children. Terrible news for the most evil people on Earth. Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's pimp and mommy girlfriend, has finally been arrested for trafficking minors to no one. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, apparently the 2,000 names of politicians and celebrities who flew on a private jet to Islands simply do not exist. But you can relax, Maxwell's in jail. It's all over, nothing to see here. In fact, there's no such thing as child trafficking rings. The great fake child sex trafficking epidemic dispatches from a moral panic. Thank you, The Atlantic, owned by Lauren Powell, friend of Ghislaine Maxwell. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Wouldn't want to sound like some crazy conspiracy theorist like Alex Jones, would you? Alex Jones, the guy who thinks we're going to be putting microchips under our skin. Off. Nobody's gonna actually do this, right? Nobody would willingly put a microchip under their skin. right?
I call myself Chip Girl because I have an RFID chip inside of my hand that unlocks things around our house. So we've got a snack cupboard. It also opens our bedroom door, as well as our office, as well as the drawers in our office. This is our nightstand, which can also be opened with a chip. We also chip locked our gift wrapping room, which is another chip to get into our summer closet. And the elevator! What the tech?
Starving to death in my giftware closet because the power went out. Next, the woke movement could be the next great US cultural export. What happened to American imperialism, man? Back in my day, back in the good old days, our biggest export was weapons. We'd sell weapons to terrorist groups, and then 9/11 happened. Now everything's woke. Speaking of terrorist groups, secret CIA files say staffers committed sex crimes involving children. Over the past 14 years, the Central Intelligence Agency has secretly amassed credible evidence that at least 10 of its employees and contractors committed sexual crimes involving children. One employee had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. He was fired. A second employee purchased 3 sexually explicit videos of young girls, filmed by their mothers. He resigned. A third employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. The records do not say what action, if any, the CIA took against him. A contractor who was arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent posing as a child had his contract removed. I'm sorry, but the vision of an FBI agent and a CIA agent unknowingly sexting each other over the internet is hilarious. Only one of the individuals cited in these documents was charged with a crime. In 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Our tax dollars at work, ladies and gentlemen. State-funded child sex offenders. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say sex offender? How rude of me. How bigoted of me. State board drops sex offender term, calling it a negative label. The board voted 10-6 to change the term sex offender to adults who commit sexual offenses. I know this won't be very PC of me, but I don't give a f*** about a rapist's feelings. Like, haha, I'm not a rapist, I'm a surprise sex haver. Wall! Chair! Suicide pod! Controversial suicide pod that kills peacefully gets go-ahead in Switzerland. A coffin-like capsule that allows people to end their life could be used in Switzerland from next year, its creators say. The Sarco suicide pod allows a user to lie down and activate the process themselves within a matter of minutes. Individuals are asked a series of questions before they can press a button, which brings oxygen down to a critical level. But don't get in that suicide pod just yet. There is still a reason to hold on. There's still a reason to stay alive. Americans are dying younger, saving corporations billions. In 2015, the American death rate, the age-adjusted share of Americans dying, rose slightly for the first time since 1999. And over the past 2 years, at least 12 large companies, from Verizon to General Motors, have said recent slips in mortality improvement has led them to reduce their estimates for how much they could owe retirees by upward of a combined $9.7 billion. Revised assumptions indicating a shortened longevity led Lockheed Martin to adjust its estimated retirement obligations downward by a total of $1.6 billion for 2015 and 2016. If you are feeling suicidal, simply don't kill yourself to own the corpos. Corporations are basically like the government, but at least with the government we have a say in who gets elected. Okay, so they're like exactly like the government. I don't understand how Republicans can continue to defend big business. Or are they? Big business can't rely on Republicans anymore. Populism is shattering a deep-rooted political relationship, and Democrats are hostile too. It's time to find friends in both parties. The marriage between big business and the Republican Party has long been one of the strongest in American politics, but that relationship is on the rocks, and the rift is growing wider and wider. In response, business leaders are hedging their bets and trying to make inroads with Democrats. The challenge facing them is that the Democratic Party remains even less friendly to its interests than the GOP. Executives have no choice but to ride out the populist storm. For some time to come, like many others in this bizarre period, big business is becoming a community without a political party. Big business is without a political party, boo-hoo! You're both parties, bitch! What the f*** are you talking about? Nothing brings together Democrats and Republicans more than big business. Big business and war. The Afghanistan war is over, and despite all my doubts, Biden actually pulled troops out. Of course, it didn't go very smoothly. A lot of things went wrong. A lot. But seeing this in particular kind of made me emotional. There's people in my audience who didn't know a time when we weren't in Afghanistan. But we are out until we are sent to war with Russia, of course. But that's possibly a story for another hell world. Of course, the media was very mad about this and trying their hardest to make us turn back around. We're Americans after all, and until we have breathed our last breath, until there is no blood left in our body, we will fight to make sure there is a Starbucks on every corner of Afghanistan. Bush calls Afghanistan withdrawal a mistake, says consequences will be unbelievably bad. Well, isn't it the very last motherfucker we want to hear from right now? For those of you who might be too young to remember, it's all this guy's fault. This man should never know peace. But no, Afghanistan is not the Bush administration's fault. It's your fault, silly! Who's to blame for the deaths of the 13 service members in Kabul? We all are. Afghanistan is your fault. I was 10! The f*** did I do? But the media's sudden suspicious turn on Biden had a lot of conservatives like, wow, CNN is finally waking up. Wow, the media is finally waking up. No, sweetie, that's not what's happening. You see, war is a racket, and the media is basically a branch of the military-industrial complex. And the MIC comes before everything. It's bigger than the two-party system. It doesn't really matter who's in charge, which is why you rarely saw the media talk about how Trump beat Obama's drone strike high score, but they would talk about his Twitter typos and how he eats steak correctly. So it's not that the media woke up, it's that you are asleep. It's much bigger than red team versus blue team. Wake up, sheeple. I made you breakfast. I love you. But of course we couldn't leave without a final hurrah. The final act of the US war in Afghanistan was a drone strike in Kabul that killed 10 people. Our latest investigation shows how a man the military saw as an imminent threat, an ISIS facilitator, was actually an aid worker returning to his family. Kabul's strike was a tragic mistake that killed civilians and children, Pentagon says. It was a mistake, and I offer my sincere apologies. Oopsie poopsie, we did a little fucky wucky, we did a little war crime. If any country drone struck our citizens, we would rightfully call it a terrorist attack. Could you imagine if, like, Iran just randomly drone struck Texas and killed, like, 10 innocent people, including children, and was just like, oops? Deadly bombs may go green. Oh good! I'm glad when we're ruthlessly blowing up the limbs of children it won't be bad for the environment. I for one cannot wait for eco-friendly waterboarding. And when the global American empire is not using your body as a tool in life, it will use it in death. Arizona man shocked to find out his mother's donated body was strapped to a chair and detonated in US military blast testing. Jim Stauffer donated his mother's body to the Biological Resource Center in Maricopa County, Arizona in 2013 after she died aged 74. Doris Stauffer suffered from Alzheimer's during the final years of her life. Doctors believe the disease may have mutated, as she did not have the usual Alzheimer's gene, and they hoped to study her brain after death. Years later, a Reuters report revealed that her brain was never used for Alzheimer's research. Instead, the body was sold off to the US Army so it could be used as part of an experiment to measure damage caused by roadside bombs. The donation center is no longer operating. It was raided in 2014 by the FBI following accusations that it was selling donated bodies for profit. It was during the 2014 raid the agents made several horrific discoveries, including a woman's head sewn onto a male's torso, dismembered limbs and heads strewn about, and a cooler filled with male genitalia. Normal stuff happening in normal country.
All right, some breaking news. We're just getting into the newsroom here. An Amazon warehouse in Edwardsville, Illinois has collapsed, with reports that local media, I should say, that about 50 to 100 people are trapped inside.
The tornado parting the building like the Red Sea and bringing down the ceiling and walls in on the employees. Vernon's family says he was an Army veteran and father who had just started as an Amazon delivery driver. The last text he sent to the mother of his children.
Jeff Bezos' house has artisan soft serve ice cream on tap now. Wow! Thanks, media! That's what matters! Jeff Bezos' ice cream machine! Oh, wow! I swear to God, if I see one more f***ing article, I'm going to throw away all my possessions, live in the woods, and become the Unabomber. Opinion. Give Amazon and Facebook a seat at the United Nations. Give who a seat at the what? Oh look! It's an opinion piece! Whose f***ing opinion, and why should I care? This is not your live journal, sir. Tell me the news. I do not care about the opinions of random journalists, and if I did, I would follow them on Twitter. Let me publish my very good and normal opinions on your website, Washington Post. Let me write about how the fish from Finding Nemo is hot, New York Times. Let me do it, you f***ing pussies.
this masterpiece and brought it down to earth to me and was like,